all in your hands, right? You can
Yeah.
sit there and wish whatever, but you've got to make it happen. You've got to do something. You've got to take action and you've got to pray for it
What's that
and it'll
song?
come. Welcome, Woven Ones. This is Generations Woven. We're the voices of 3 generations blended into one tapestry of truth, laughter, love, and life. There's a moment, and you know it when it hits, when you stop performing and start arriving. It's quieter than a dramatic transformation. The first time you disagree out loud, the first time you say no and actually mean it, it's dressing for yourself, setting boundaries and not apologizing. It's becoming someone else. It's becoming somebody more fully yourself. Becoming her isn't a destination,
Mm.
it takes practice. And we're all somewhere on that road.
Mhm.
So this episode called Becoming Her, we right now we're recording our 38th episode. And it's been on our list of topic ideas since the very first day.
Day.
Wow.
And as we had that on the list, these two were like, well, what's becoming her? And I was like, it's like who you want to be, but we really didn't understand it. We didn't understand what the becoming her was enough for us to talk about it.
Mm.
And in the last few months, the word becoming has continued to pop up in our conversations,
Mhm.
in other episodes, in the things that we're doing. It's all about kind of becoming. And so we decided, I think it's time. I think we're ready
Mhm.
for the becoming her because I finally connect with it enough that I identify with
Mhm.
exactly what this is. So when I think about becoming her, it's not that you're becoming somebody else. Like, I'm not looking on social media and saying, I want to be her. It's me looking at myself and knowing that I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I know I'm becoming who I want to be through my practices,
Mhm.
through my intentions, through my goals. And at times I feel like it's not fast enough,
Mhm.
right? We want everything right away. And so when I look at things like, oh my gosh, we've been doing this for 6 months, I thought we would be doing XYZ by now.
Mhm.
It's taking that step back and seeing, wow, like we really have done a lot of things. We really are in motion to where we want to be. And I am realizing that I'm becoming more of that person, right? More understanding, more compassionate, more like building better relationships when
Mhm.
I've always been a very tactical person
Mhm.
and building a relationship with somebody was never like my number one thing. It was more transactional in
Mhm.
ways. So I'm seeing now like what I'm doing in becoming this person and learning from others, but I'm interested in what you guys have seen over your years. Like, what is a moment that you realized you wanted something different and you took that action to be that person?
I think it's important to know that there isn't necessarily a blueprint for that. That the blueprint you might you might have envisioned keeps on changing.
Mm,
And that you need to be in flux enough to say, okay, I don't want that, but that I want. Because when you're younger, you don't know necessarily the qualities of what is important to you at that time. But you see, many times you see the absence of that and it's not pretty. And it's like, okay, I don't want that anymore. And that is what is so interesting about the human condition, that we have free will. We get to, like I told you, my dad always says, you're the architect of your life. And if you've done something or you've been on a trajectory to do something and the outcome looks like that, and you thought that that is who you want to be and that's what you want, but then you realize, no, that comes with a price that I'm not willing to pay. You can pivot and you can select something else. And I think that's the great thing of becoming. It's not static, it is always in flux,
mhm.
becoming. And I think that that will be till the day we're called home.
And it might be intentional to where you're working on something, right?
Something.
So I know, like right now, I'm intentional. Like I
Mm,
know kind of what I want to work towards. I know the type of person that I want to be more of.
Mhm.
Not changing everything about myself, but like the things that I need to improve or do better on, I'm intentional with it. When we were younger, though, nothing was intentional
No.
about it, right? I remember having a group of friends, and y- you think that when you stop being friends with somebody, that it's always some like huge reason, or there's some like blow up, or there's something about it. But I remember, hanging out with somebody at one point and then being like, "You've changed." And I'm like, and at that moment I got like offended. Like, what do you mean I've changed? But we are growing and we don't realize that we have
Yes.
changed. So then things just don't mix anymore. I don't know, like the conversations or what they're doing, or they want to do this and you're like, "No, like can we just like watch a movie or something?"
Mhm.
And then it's just like, "Oh, you've changed. You're just no fun anymore." But really, that's just us growing
Mhm.
and becoming her, but unintentionally, because
Mm.
we're young and we don't really see what's happening, but we're maturing in ways. So I think that you've changed. Have you guys ever heard you've changed from somebody?
Hmm.
I think that if I did, that would not have bothered me.
Mm.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, so but touching you, it's interesting when I ask you this question because I remember when I was your age, and I remember coming to America again for the second time when I was 40, and I definitely had goals and ideas of what I wanted to do, and now I was a mom with a younger child, a young child. She was 4, 3 when we came here. Some of those things I pivoted pretty much 180 from then. But do you think that there are people that are not intentional in their becoming? They're really okay with where they are and what they're doing.
Oh yeah. I think in lots of cases people are fine with where they are. Like they're happy with their circumstances, or they've accepted it, right?
Oh, maybe it's that.
Yeah, so it could be just acceptance
Sure,
in some cases. It's hard for me to put myself in other people's shoes where
sure.
they're for me, I'm always wanting to grow and do
Yeah,
better and improve,
same.
and other people are just happy with the role that they have, the job that they have,
Yeah.
doing that thing, and that's okay. Like
Yeah,
we're all different people, but
right.
me, I don't think that I could stay doing the exact same thing for 20 years like maybe my parents did, right?
Yeah.
They stuck to the exact same thing. I continue to evolve in a way that I see things differently, and then I want something different, or but I think it's very unique to you.
Do you thrive on change? Do
Oh
you
yeah.
like
Like you could
change?
say change is my middle name. I love change.
No, it's my middle name.
It's my middle. You can't have it.
Well, can share it. What about you, Judy?
Okay, really quick. Over 7,000 people watch Generations Woven every month, but only a tiny percentage of you are actually subscribed. If you've ever watched an episode and thought, "Wow, I needed that," please hit subscribe. It's free and it takes 2 seconds, and it genuinely helps us grow, bring on amazing guests, and reach more women looking for connection, healing, and real conversations. Thank you.
Okay, I'm old.
Dur.
Or older. The interesting thing is when we started this whole process of the podcast, I was quite comfortable
You were?
In life.
in
Oh,
In
life.
her
in life,
life.
not with the
Yeah.
podcast, because I was not. When we
No.
did the
No,
podcast,
I
I
mean,
was
I
not.
No, she
was
was just comfortable in her
retired. I
days.
could do what
Oh,
I
yeah.
wanted to. I
Okay.
could get up when I wanted to.
Not as many commitments to.
I didn't have to do anything. Basically, I was quite comfortable, and I just heard a a term, and I have to use it. I would love my recliner, and I heard it called lately your practice casket,
Oh, oh,
and I'm
I
going,
don't like
oh
that.
my god,
Oh, but
because
that
but
I can see
I
that.
I
was
can see that
so
too.
comfortable
Right by
getting
the
in my
TV?
recliner and watching my shows and doing this,
And
Mm.
and
spending hours and hours
hours.
in it.
Yes. And when we started this whole thing, you guys changed my life
Oh.
in a great way. All of a sudden, I had a purpose. I had to get out of my practice casket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it started out because I'd always wanted to share some of the journey I've done in hopes that other women don't have to
Mm,
do it as difficult as I did.
Or wait too long
Yeah,
to finally get there.
I didn't always make great decisions, and I hope by sharing some of those experiences that
mm.
somebody would learn and not have to go through the rougher times.
Or get through it
Yeah,
easier because
yeah.
they see that somebody else has lived the same situation.
Well, I sort of thought I'd arrived and I didn't have any more big
Work.
work to
Goals.
do.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we started doing these, and I started realizing, oh my God, I'm becoming something more. And it's all your guys' fault. I'm
We'll
just
take
telling you
it.
ahead of
We'll
time.
take it.
Uh, you've given me insight on I'm not dying anymore.
Oh
I'm
my
living.
gosh.
And
Wow.
it's, bring a tear to my eye here. It's exciting because none of us are perfect. But if we can all give a little bit of light or lift to others' lives, I don't care who you are, share with a friend, listen, be
Mm,
there for them. And all of a sudden, we're starting to become the women we were meant to be.
mm.
It's that
Together.
together, right? It's
Because
generations woven.
Oh, I love that.
And when we come together and we lift each other up
Mm,
and we share knowledge, wisdom, learning from going around the block too many times the hard way, we start growing ourselves.
yeah.
Recently, I've been making some better decisions about eating and not doing the practice casket near as much. I love that term, but it fits.
I mean it
Scary.
does because you're right. It's almost unintentional
Exactly.
because you think like, well, I've lived my life, but you do it at every age. You still have so much life to live. Like somebody was telling me they just went skydiving with their 75-year-old drama teacher,
I love
Yeah.
it. I
right?
love
Because
it.
at every age, like you can still experience life and do things, but we do get kind of stuck,
Complacent.
complacent, comfortable with,
Oof.
not even realizing it. And that's where you could be growing or becoming
Mm-hmm.
intentionally or unintentionally, right? And when
Yeah.
you're intentional about it,
I've
that's when
been
it's like you're living.
Yes.
been trying to make better choices. And one of the things is about eating. Somebody said stop eating when you're full. Well, I'm not real familiar with that feeling. So, but I realize, and I'm owning it now, I don't have a lot of self control when it comes to food. I love to eat.
Mm,
And so now, in the last week, I've been catching myself and saying, okay, it's time to set a boundary here.
Mm.
And it's sort of exciting because I'm almost empowering myself, which I didn't know I had the ability to do very much anymore.
Judy, is it because you have a goal or you're working towards something? Because I think for most people, if somebody says to you, I think you should just do this. If you don't have, I call it the carrot, it's the carrot and the stick thing. If you don't have a bigger vision for doing the thing that is causing pain right now, like eating differently, if you've been eating the way you've been eating and you like it like that, you're not going to change.
Well, I think I hear her saying a lot, and my son is if you make changes with your eating, with your activity
Mm,
levels, with, you know what I mean, it's going to affect your future quality of
absolutely.
life.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it's like, I'm not getting any younger.
Hmm.
And so I'm starting to realize, see, you guys are at fault here.
Yeah. Because wouldn't you, I mean, in all cases, right? Do you want to be able to stand up on your own at 90, or do you want to be dependent on somebody else?
Mhm.
Like that's more, it's been, my daughter is the one who was telling about this. She's like, I did some interviewing with her and asking her questions about advice for older generation.
Mm.
And she said, practice your sitting and
Yep.
standing, like work on your core. She goes, do core exercises. She goes, I see so many people that are way too young coming into the hospital, into the nursing homes. that can't stand up by themselves
Mhm.
because they don't work on their core. And
Mhm.
we all want to be independent, right? There's nobody who says I can't wait to be dependent on somebody,
Yeah.
right? We all want to be independent, and like my daughter said, like you have to do a little bit of that work to be
Right.
there at some point because we have to take care of
We
ourselves.
do.
And then it also helps because we don't want our children to have to take care of us either.
Definitely not.
So it's just, yeah, that's good. I love that you
Yeah.
are embracing that,
Well,
right?
thank you, ladies. You've been an inspiration to
Oh,
me.
that's sweet. We
And the other thing is, if we're going to Australia next year,
yes.
I got to be able to hang in there.
Yeah, because we're not sitting on the plane by you. I'm kidding.
Oh, now that's hitting below the
You
belt.
can sit by me.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
We
you.
told you
absolutely.
Thank you.
there's flight attendants to help you. They'll be there.
We're all gonna press that little button and go, "Can I have another glass of wine, please?"
We love you, Judy. We'll
We
sit
do.
with you.
Oh,
But
We'll
all
sit
right.
with you.
I at some point did a project on worksite wellness, and we were working with the Spanish community, and they told us that if we want to change the trajectory of the workers in the plant, we need to find something that there's commonality in the culture for them to change. And so we did our research, and it was really interesting for them. For the men, we knew that we had to go speak to the wives and tell because they're the ones that packs the lunch.
Mm.
And we
Oh,
knew that we needed to talk to the men about, do you have a daughter? Do you want to walk her down the aisle one day? And they're like, yes. We go, well, that is why your wife is going to change your lunch. And that is why it's probably a good thing to walk a little bit, even though they stand and they work a lot. But that's that carrot that I'm talking about, that you need
there's
something
that carrot.
bigger. Yes, that carrot. You need something bigger than the situation of comfort to be
Mhm.
able to say, no, I'm not going to have that dessert. Yes, I'm going to eat this. Yes, I'm going to go work out tomorrow
And
with my friend. And if you
yep.
don't have that, then this right here is very comfortable and we don't want to
And
change
Practice
that.
casket.
and
Gets real familiar.
that's why people quit smoking.
Yeah.
That's why they quit drinking is
Right.
something there's some sort of catalyst
Ex-
in in
right.
in almost everything, right? Because you can be comfortable. Like it is to each their own,
Yeah.
right? You can live how you want to live and do your thing,
Yep.
but it's don't expect me to have like to be impacted by it, right?
Yeah.
That's your choice.
Right.
Of course, like we love our parents. We're not going to be like, you should have worked on that core, but we can do it for our children, right? Like
Yes.
we can continue to grow. But I think that catalyst is important in all cases because it's
Mm-hmm.
what actually drives you to do something and then to keep doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where, people who they get their annual chips,
Mm-hmm.
right? Their coins that talk about their sobriety because it's
Oh
also
yeah.
you're driving towards that sobriety and to continue holding it because then
Yeah.
it's like this achievement and you feel proud of yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
those are all great reasons why people
You know
continue.
what would be wonderful
Hmm.
Hmm.
is if the people that are watching our podcast in some way are inspired to make positive choices
And
for their future.
many of them have like we've heard tons of stories
Yes.
of people making a change or doing something different because of conversations, and
Yeah.
that's all we want. Like
That's
one person.
But I think that was the thread in the
Yeah.
beginning for all three. We wanted to help women because we've been stuck and
Mhm.
we want for them to know that there is a way out. And
and you're not alone.
you're
Mhm.
definitely not alone.
Yeah.
No, this is a sisterhood here that keeps on growing and it seems to be growing all over the world. We looked at stats the other day and I'm always astounded when I look at where are people watching from. So
What, 9
please,
countries was it?
19.
19 different
19
countries.
countries.
Yeah.
So it
And now,
doesn't
yeah, and we've grown so much. Like, so when we're recording this right now, this is the end of June.
mm,
In 1 month, our views doubled. So we had 5 months of views, and then from May to June, doubled
wow.
everything. So we were having like 7,000 visitors a month, like listeners a month, and now we're up to 14,000,
Wow.
right? well over 1 million views now, like getting closer to 2 even recently. Like it's been amazing
Yeah.
to see the growth in this, but it's also because of our like consistency, us becoming more vulnerable. Like
Mhm.
there's still some topics that we haven't touched
It's true.
and things that we haven't spoken on yet that we're getting more comfortable
Mm.
to talk about because it
As
takes time
as we're becoming.
as we are becoming, yes,
Yeah.
and then as we find the
Yeah.
confidence to share our vulnerable stories
Yeah.
because we still are mindful of our loved ones, right? We don't want to share somebody else's story, and we also want to we don't want to just trauma dump everything, but there's so much to each of us still that we're
Right.
unpacking
Yeah.
each time we have these conversations, and that's where people can continue to listen and connect.
Did you want to use that one
I
quote?
yes, so like in this whole becoming, right? We're changing, we're growing. It takes time. But the
It
quote
does.
that we're in our studio right now and I looked over while Narina was helping me button my shirt and the quote was some people want it to happen. Some wish it would happen and others make it happen
Mm.
by Michael Jordan.
Mhm.
And I think that is so becoming
Oof.
of somebody, right? It's all in your hands,
Yeah.
right? You can
Yeah.
sit there and wish whatever, but you've got to make it happen. You've got to do something. You've got to take action and you've got to pray for it
What's that
and it'll
song?
come.
Get on your feet. You can make it happen.
Keep
Remember that?
going.
I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
that
Oh,
song, but
never
it's
mind.
beautiful.
Never mind.
We'll look it up.
Okay.
We will definitely look it up. So
I'm not going to be going on the America's Got Talent. Don't
Well, we
worry.
can sing karaoke later. You
we
can sing
can.
it.
But Tasha, that's beautiful. That is
Yeah.
so good. But I do want to say that sometimes you're in a phase where you're so stuck and you cannot get out. Get a buddy, get a good friend,
Yeah.
call us. We'll find you somebody on the internet. Um, but I think being able to do this with somebody that also has goals and doesn't want to
Mhm.
stay stuck where they are, that helps.
Yeah.
I've gone through
You need it.
phases where I needed a buddy.
Mhm.
But the other thing I wanted to ask you specifically, Tasha, in the last so we have been together almost a year now. It will be a year in
A couple
August.
months, yeah.
Yes. Who have you become in this past year?
Oh, somebody who's much more intentional
Mm,
than I ever knew possible. I was surviving and just living life, right? I
wow.
I wasn't living. I
I
was
was saying you were
existing.
doing.
I was doing. Yes, I
Yeah.
was a human doer
Oof.
and I wasn't being anything. I would, you know, just kind of go through the motions of the day. I was not intentional in my relationships. I wasn't looking at people's perspectives in a different way. I was very personally focused. I was
Mm,
just
mm,
it was a
yeah.
me in everything. And then it's shifted into this different ways of viewing, different ways of being, realizing more beauty of life
Mm,
than I could have
lovely.
ever imagined because I knew what I knew and I've grown and learned and continue to like strive for wanting more and doing better and like understanding. Like my drive is to understand more. Like I'm still caught in my old ways. Like it's only
Yeah.
been a year. Like
That's
it's
right.
not
Not even.
you know what I mean? Not even, but it's going to take time. And
Mm,
I'm going to look back like I said in an earlier episode, I'm going to look back at some of these episodes in 5 years and be like, I don't even think like that anymore
yeah.
because we're continuing to grow
Grow.
and
Hmm.
that's great, right? And I love it. Like it makes it all more exciting to live this life and to
Mhm.
realize the journey that we're all on, that we can be on it together and not on our own.
So we almost want to say becoming intentional.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Intentional is the biggest thing. It's
I agree.
being aware that you
I'm not
have the
sure what I
control
want to be when I grow up.
and that's
That's
okay.
good. As long as you keep on searching for
Yeah.
something
Yes.
and not just sitting
Sitting in
back
your
in that
recliner.
casket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
My
in
practice
your
casket.
Practice
practice
Isn't that a
casket.
casket.
great term, though?
That is a one that's a very scary one.
It's a scary one, but it's probably pretty accurate because
I think it
I
is.
know a lot of
Mm.
friends, people my age, that get in that and it's really comfortable. I
But
know.
I think it fills a void. and we get to choose what we want to fill that void with. Why don't we just make it something intentional that we grow into?
Well, and yeah, some people that we talk to, right? We do our coffee and connections in person, and we hear from some great women and like what they're doing, right?
Mm,
They're going home, they're working in their garden,
That's right.
they're canning,
Yeah.
they're working on these projects, even though they're doing it alone, right? Not
mhm.
everybody has somebody every single day to be
No.
with them, but they're doing something intentional with their life that brings them joy and growth. And they come back and they're like, I just learned how to can cake,
Oh,
right? Like,
to
I
can
know.
cake.
yeah,
Yeah.
canning cake
And bread.
Okay.
and bread.
Yep.
Like the thing
Wow.
is they're learning and they're growing. Like
And they're
it's
sharing.
exciting
They're
and they're
sharing.
sharing it.
So we all
Yes.
get to
So we all get to
learn.
hear like, oh, like I didn't even know that was a thing, and we share like
And one of our woven
experiences.
ones brought me fresh dried basil and
Oh,
oregano. I thought, oh, how cool
That's
is
so
that?
sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just that, even though if we do, you don't have to always be doing something with somebody,
mm,
but get up, do something that gives you life,
joy.
gives you joy, like you
Yes.
thrive off of,
Mhm.
and try something. Like
Yeah.
I saw a woman, she was walking with her daughter, she just retired, and she was like sharing a story. She goes, "Can everyone like drop in the comments what your favorite hobby is?" Like she's retiring and didn't have a hobby because you just work, right?
Oof.
And then you're like, "Well, what do I do now that I'm not working?" Get a hobby while you work. Okay? Like let's not wait.
Let's start now.
Let's start now. Like we
Okay.
don't and that's the whole thing with everything. Start now in
Yeah.
everything you do. Don't be like, "Oh, I'll start next week."
Or one thing you do because you're still working.
Something.
Yeah.
Just do
Well, I think
something.
one thing that helps a lot of people, maybe it's not necessarily a hobby, but helping at the food pantries.
Mm,
Serving.
Much needed, but it's also a sense of helping,
yeah.
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
something
Serving.
positive. Yeah.
And you
I
get to meet other people doing that, right? You
oh
communicate. Like I recently did, and they said, okay, whoever hands out the pies has to tell everybody that the pies have to be frozen until you make them. So I was like, yeah, I want to be wherever I get to talk to people.
yeah.
So like I went
See that?
straight to those pies because I
She's
was
got to
like,
be kidding,
that
don't she?
means
The
I
Yeah.
get
talking
to have a
parts.
conversation
That's
with
right.
every person coming in and hopefully make that like a good impact for
Yeah.
them, right? Because some people like they could be getting that for themselves, they could be getting it for others. It
Mm-hmm.
could be their first time at the food pantry and they feel shame. You shouldn't feel shame. Like everyone goes through things in life. I remember going through that line at one time and getting food for me and my family.
Me too.
And so we've all like been at different points in our life, but like to be able to have that conversation and
Mm.
be like, okay, like look at this amazing pie. And I got to like chat with them and they're like, oh, that looks good. Can I get an extra one? And I was like, shh, don't tell anybody. And I'd like
Yeah.
throw an extra one in, right? It's like, it's building that like, you
Building
just having a
building them
conversation.
up to say you're in a
Yeah.
season. It's not always going to be this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just,
Love it.
talk to everybody,
Right.
have conversations. Anyway, we're just rambling now. I love this.
But
I love
Judy,
you guys.
I wanted to know, I mean, you shared about how you have changed from sitting in this temporary casket of yours.
Practice casket.
Practice casket, yes. What else can you see that's different from the Judy a year ago?
How I respond to my children.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You know, children, friends, significant other do not always act the way you expect them to. Does that, how am I wording this
That
right?
they expect or you?
That I expect
Okay.
them
Oh, I
to.
see. Yeah.
You
Mhm.
know, they may,
You can't control it.
no, you can't control. But what I've learned is that I love you no matter what.
Yeah, that's nice.
And, you know, if something's an issue and you want to discuss it, I'm here for you, but I'm not going to take it on.
As your own feelings.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's been so exhilarating for me
Oh, that's beautiful.
because, you know, when you start buying in, if a friend says something the wrong way and you take it personal, or
Mm,
your kids say something or act a certain way and you take it personal, they're stealing your joy.
Mhm.
and you're allowing it.
And
And
I'm allowing it.
and
So that's the one thing that I'm still working on, but
all of
Mm,
us are. I
yes.
think.
you know, it
Yes.
has just sort of set me free to be more happy.
I
Yeah.
love that, Judy.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, and I see it too, even with like the three of us, right?
Mhm.
Remember our episode where like we had that meeting that went south, right?
yes.
And
It
but I
was a
think,
learning
It
experience.
was.
but the thing is like we've continued to like grow through these things, right? And like because we're on this journey together, it
Mhm.
allows us to see things different. We're constantly practicing, right? Like I'm not proud of how I reacted in some meetings earlier this week and being defensive and like kind of not being who I want to be, but
I think
you
a lot of
learn
it is
and you can
you're
keep practicing.
Yeah.
so, what's the word I want? Dramatic or
Ah!
your expression? Is that the word I want? Your
I've got
your
expressions.
whole persona changes when you are
Defensive.
Yeah.
defensive.
Yeah.
All of us do.
Yeah, it
But I
is.
think more so, she's so animated at times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
I mean,
mean,
from the time she was in junior high, it's when I started loving this girl. I was a life skills teacher, and she was a little sparky then. She was so fun, but you were animated. You were
yeah. But I
eyes
think
wide
but
open.
that's what I'm saying. It's learning though, because at one point, someday, or at moments, we just have to like take those wins.
Yes.
Right? The win, like recently, when you didn't let something react and you didn't let it become your feelings,
Yeah.
that's a win. Now, next week you may react differently, but you got to take the wins when you can. So, like,
Yes.
I can't say that I won, right? I'm not proud of that, but it's like I'm acknowledging it. And
That's
so
the win.
now, yes, the win is that I saw it. And before, old Tasha would have never saw it. She just would have been like, whatever, it's done.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, ooh, I didn't react the way I wanted to. Now I'm aware. So next time if I realize it, I can pause
Yeah.
and
And
change.
respond.
And yeah, so it's we take the wins when we can, but we're constantly
Becoming.
becoming. We're constantly becoming. So, think about yourself. Okay? She's not perfect. She's present. She doesn't have it all figured out, but she has the courage to keep figuring it out. So this week, I want you to do one thing. I want you to do something that the version of you who you're becoming would do. So if normally you would get mad if somebody left the garbage and didn't take it out, think to yourself, what would the future you do? Would she get mad? Would she throw a fit? Or would she say, they must not have heard me, or maybe something's going on. I'm just going to take it out myself. Right? Whatever that thing is. They left the toilet seat up.
Uh-oh.
You're just going to put the toilet seat down and you're going to move on, because that's what future you would do. So think about future you, who you're becoming. What would you do? And do that this week. Be intentional. And until next time, God bless.
There's an invisible thread that ties us all.